Everyone, it's us. This is 13.12 patch preview, not the official rundown. And with Pro Play being in a really mess of a state right now, apparently LCK is starting on 13.10, not 13.11. I don't know what LEC is starting on. I don't know what LCS is starting on. LPL is also on 13.10. I do not know if all of the professional splits are just literally going to be on different patches, and that is going to be a very big cluster mess of a thing, keeping track of all the regions, obviously, this summer. So we'll see what is going to end up happening. The meta right now is extremely stale, and I don't think that that is a byproduct of the current balance of the game, but more so just, obviously, the state of Pro Play. So, Ashe, Frost Shot bonus damage increased from 115 to 120%. Base damage increased from 10 to 70 to 20 to 80. Enchanted Crystal Arrow AP ratio increased from 100 to 120. So, the enchant or the AP ratio going up by 20% doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess with Helia, so you end up getting Helia and then what? Then you get like Mandate and stuff, right? So I guess that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so that I support Ashe has some more viability there, because obviously AP Ashe isn't, right? Now, the other thing about this, so I guess, is if you go Guinsoo's on Ashe or something, then you get a little bit of extra damage on the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but realistically, this is not doing super much. The increased volley base damage is both a buff to ADC Ashe and support Ashe, so and sort of whatever. Gangplank, Powder Keg, E, recharge timer, 18 seconds to 18 to 14. So they just nerfed Gangplank a couple of patches ago. This is actually one of the nerfs that they ended up doing. And now they took the ability haste away from his item, which was the Navari, and they changed it to AD. But now they're making it so that his Powder Keg goes back down to the old cooldown. So now he's going to get a lot of his... He's going to get damage, and now he's getting ability haste added into the base of his ability. So Gangplank is now also going to go back to being in a pretty good spot at level 13. It's going to be very, very, very good at level 13. Okay. Kai'Sa, 80 per level, 2 to 2.6. Nasa's passive lifesteal, 9 to 19% to 11 to 21%. This really doesn't matter. It's not doing anything. Realistically, maybe Nasus gets an extra auto attack worth of HP inside of laning phase, like if he's laning in top lane. But if you're playing AP Nasus in mid lane, or you're playing support Nasus or something, this is doing virtually nothing. The R cooldown, 120 to 120 to 80. This is definitely better, but the way that Nasus itemizes anyway is he builds a ton of ability haste anyway, which means that even in the later stages of his game, his ultimate was already going to be up once per team fight, no matter what. So I just feel like these are both luxury buffs, or like placebo buffs in most cases. Orianna, our AP ratio, 90 to 95%. Our base damage, 250 to 450, 250 to 550. So here's the problem with this, and I've talked about this a million times over. Whatever is the core defining reason that a champion gets picked, which for Orianna, it's not her R. Her R has nothing to do with why she's picked. It's actually her ball, right? It is her Q, and then the abilities that can be cast with the Q, so the W and the E. It has nothing to do with the R. This is equivalent to Neeko having her R get buffed. The Pot Blossom isn't why you pick Neeko. The reason that you pick Neeko is because of Neeko's Q, W, and E. So when Neeko ended up getting reworked, and everyone said that Neeko just wasn't going to be good, even though her core defining abilities and the reasons that you actually pick her is the Q, W, and E, and all of those got base buffs in addition to AP buffs, etc., that's how you know that Neeko is going to end up being good. Orianna, likewise here, is having an ability that has nothing to do with her defining characteristic, and has nothing to do with what pushes her into competitive, is now getting a very negligible buff because of the way that Orianna ends up itemizing, just ends up meaning that it's a placebo through and through. Now, I understand what Riot's doing. Orianna is currently viable right now, and they don't probably want to push her too much more, especially because she's just received some indirect buffs like the Lost Chapter change. So that's one of the things that's going on here as well. But realistically, she's not receiving a buff to any of her core characteristics, and so because of that, it's not actually going to move her in any direction. Rise. Passive AP ratio, 6% to 10%. EAP ratio, 45% to 50%. E missile speed, 3,500 to 4,000. These are core characteristics, okay? So, because these are core characteristics and because these are all spammable things, these do move the needle on Rise. Now, Rise is obviously a balancing nightmare. Rise also just received a lot of indirect buffs because of the changes to itemization. And with a lot of the hyper carries, specifically the ones with a lot of range, getting nerfed, now some of the carries that have been turned to are actually much close quarter combat champions. Now, some of the champions on 1311 are some of the more longer range ones, like Caitlyn starting to pop up a little bit more. Ezreal, obviously, by nature of all of the crit ADCs getting nerfed and other ADCs being brought down and more items just continuing to be nerfed. Then obviously as a byproduct of this, Ezreal grows in power, etc. Rise grows in power the closer quarter combat becomes. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, so these are noticeable things that you do have to keep a mental note of. Sivir, 80 per level, 2.8 to 2.5, so she loses 0.3. This does not matter. W Ricochet, 80 ratio increased from 25 to 45% to 30 to 50%. So overall, a really big buff to Sivir. She'll, the W damage is going to be massive in the later stages of the game, and she loses an extremely negligible amount of AD. Okay, champion nerfs. GRAGAS. Finally, he gets nerfed in 13-12. Passive cooldown 8 to 12. This is massive because he is going to have so much less sustain now in both mid and top lane. He is going to have so much less HP, which also now means that in lanes where he is able to be bullied to a certain extent, you can actually force him back earlier than you ever could before, which now means that his recalls are going to be stunted. He's not going to have the same level of, he's not going to have the same items, which now means that you can constantly just abuse him by accruing larger CS advantages and then larger EXP leads and stuff. Very, very big. Kha'Zix, 63 to 60, doesn't matter. Kog'Maw, W percentage HP damage, 3.5 to 6.5% to 3 to 6%. So this is something, but again, it's not going to stop you from picking Kog'Maw, so it doesn't matter. K'Sante, footwork, E cooldown increase from 9 to 7 to 10 to 8.5. This is definitely a nerf to K'Sante. Is it something that's going to make him unpickable? Absolutely not, no. Now, it is, I think, the ability that he doesn't max until later on in the game, so it is something that will feel a little bit obnoxious, but it's not the end of the world. Lulu, 29 to 26, so they're making her a lot more squishy. Passive damage, 15 to 117 to 9 to 111, so she's also hitting for less. E-shield, 75 to 215 to 75 to 235, but they're making it so their shield is going up. So she's going to be more vulnerable to poke, and she's going to have less ability to bully inside of laning phase, but in exchange, her shield is going to go up. So as long as you're actually getting the shield value off, then, everything's fine there. Milio, 28 to 26, armor growth is also going to go down by 0.3. Passive on hit damage, 15 to 35% AD to just 15% AD. That is a massive nerf to Milio, depending on who he's going to end up being laning with. Now, the problem is that Milio really likes to play with a lot of hypers. So, because he likes to play with a lot of hypers, I think that if the hypers end up disappearing, and Milio should only be coming in as a counter pick anyway, then it's not really going to be the end of the world. Now, one of the things that I will say about this, though, is that for his passive and his on-hit damage, for all of the attack speed marksmen, this isn't the end of the world because they don't build obscene amounts of AD anyway. Yes, they are losing some damage, but it's not like they're going to lose the same amount, or it's not going to be as painful as some of the other types of marksmen that actually build, critical items and actual build like Bloodthirster and all this other type of stuff. If they just build pure attack speed on hit, etc., it's not going to be as painful. Rel, C-Right Raptor, okay, Yuumi. E attack speed buff, 35% plus 8% per 100 AP to 25 to 35% plus 8% per 100 AP. R heal per hit, 35 to 65 scaling, 15% AP to 25 to 55 plus 15% AP. So Yuumi just being nerfed a little bit. It's not really the end of the world. I think, again, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. This is not going to be enough to actually take Yuumi out of pro play, and it's not going to be enough to move Yuumi from competitive. Now, she's never going to gain access to her rank 3R. Let's just be totally honest here. So mostly what we're looking at is like rank 1, which is now down by 10, and then obviously rank 2, which is down by 10. So mostly on the heal. There's no change to the AP ratio, and then eventually it goes back to 35%, so Yumi's going to be fine. ZERI, shield passive is removed, and then Q no longer procs Sheen. That's a very, very, very big nerf to ZERI. MS, however, is up by 5. E damage 0 to 65% to 0 to 85%. So ZERI might now have to start coming up with some new itemization because she's not going to be okay, so Q no longer proccing Sheen is definitely going to hurt, for sure. It is going to hurt. I mean, that is just the truth. She's going to have to weave in auto attacks now in between Qs if she still wants to go for the Trinity Force build, or maybe she's going to have to come up with a new build path. Lucian. Vigilance. When Lucian is empowered by another ally, his next 2 basic attacks will deal bonus magic damage too. When Lucian is healed or shielded by another ally, so no longer just empowered. Or when a nearby enemy champion is immobilized. Okay, that is disturbing. His next 2 basic attacks will deal bonus magic damage. Damage is 14 plus 20% AD to 10 plus 15% AD. So he's also hitting for less. Considerably less. Okay. Maximum heat. Oh, this is rumble changes. Maximum heat 100 to 150. Danger zone still starts at 50. Overheat 20 to 80% attack speed for 5.25 seconds to 50 to 130% attack speed. Wow. For 4.0 seconds. Okay. So he gets an insane amount of attack speed. What? So if you manage to overheat, his attack speed is just unholy. I really wonder if this is going to cause some really weird things with Nashor's Tooth. I genuinely wonder if we're going to get some Nashor's Tooth type tech. 130% attack speed. What? He's just going to, like... What is going on with that? Okay. Rumble, monster damage cap adjusted. E-heat 10 to 20, okay. Okay, E-heat is 10 to 20. Health 659 plus 99 to 625 plus 105. So we'll eventually end up getting it back. Q damage 180 to 340, 1.1 AP to 135 to 195 to 6 to 10% of target's max HP plus 1.1% AP. So... the base damage is going down. Now, 10% of a target's max HP, everyone and their mother has 200%, 2,000 HP late game. It's just a buff! It's just a buff, man! What? Even when people only have 150! Why are they buffing Rumble? Why are they buffing Rumble? He's already disgusting. W shield 60 to 180 plus 0.45 AP. 25 to 145 plus 0.25. I mean, his shield doesn't matter because dude, if Rumble is running at you with his shield and he has his flame spitter on and he's harpooning you, you don't win the trade anyway. That is how Rumble's trade pattern works anyway. If he's using the shield to run away, it doesn't matter about the shield value. AP plus 4% max it. Why is he getting buffed? R cooldown, so his R is nerfed early, but it doesn't matter because Rumble's a lane. Okay, so in jungle, he's nerfed a little bit because jungle Rumble will actually hit level 16 a little bit later. Why are they buffing Rumble? What is going on, man? He's a tank and bruiser killer now. He just melts tanks and bruisers. Why are they buffing him? And they're making him easier to play. Is it because he's not popular? Is that it? I don't... What is going on, man? System buffs. Okay, wow. Oh, there's a lot of changes. What is this patch? Immortal Shield Bow, lifesteal 7% to 10%. Who cares? Mid lane gold. -1 gold per minion, kill removed. Okay. That is actually kind of big. That's pretty big. This is actually big. This is very big. This is very big for getting... okay. So now it becomes easier to also get the Lost Chapter thing more consistently with Futures Market. But in addition to this, you can also now, I think, get your Mythic an entire wave faster with Futures. Oh, this is huge. Oh, that's really big. Echo Heal, 20 to 40%. 1 to 18 ally level scaling, 35%. Echo Shield, 30 to 40. Moonstone sucks. This item is so bad. Riot, rework it. Rework it. Bring back Starlit Grace, okay? It can keep everything that you have going on. Make it afflict people with a very small heal periodically. Make it spit out really small heals, man. Please, something. It this item is so bad. Or if you don't want to do that, make it spit out small shields. If it doesn't even have to be a heal. Make it spit out shields. There it is. Boom. There. How about that? How about it spits out shields periodically or something, and the shields last like 5 seconds or something? Like, I don't know, man. This item is so bad. Everyone is griefing if they build this item. It's so bad. Okay. And now they're also changing the mythic passive from 5 ability haste to 5 heal and shield power. So your heal goes up by 5 and your shield power goes up by 5? Or is it 5%? I don't even understand. If it's 5%, that's pretty big. If you can get 20% increased heal and shield power, that's massive. That's a very big mythic passive. If it is literally you get 20 more healing if you complete 4 legendary items, or you get 20 more on your shield, Riot, you are out of your goddamn minds. What is this, some sort of a joke? I don't even understand. What is going on? Okay, Phantom Dancer, attack speed, 30% to 35%. I mean, that's a nice buff. We'll take it. Static Shiv, energized damage, 80 to 190, 7 to 18 to 100 to 180, level 6 to 18. I mean, it's a nice buff. We'll take it. Ardent Sensor, on-hit damage, 15 to 30, levels 1 to 18 to just 15. That's a really bad nerf. Wow. Milio is just really getting tagged. I mean, this doesn't really matter. I mean, the reason that they're maybe doing this is because they preemptively predict on-hit or attack speed ADCs to become problematic. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, Bloodthirster, 3200 to 3400. This item is really, really bad in general. I think that in most cases, you're actually griefing if you buy it. So the fact that it's getting nerfed is really funny to me. I don't understand. I genuinely can't think of a situation like this is a 4th or 5th item purchased in most cases, and it's very, very, very specific to the team comp being a certain way. And the enemy team, like, it's so weird. It's such a bizarre item because it lost what really made it oppressive. I just think there's generally so many other items that just get purchased before it. I don't know. The nerf to it is actually pretty painful. Now, because it is a 4th or 5th item, you're talking about post 25 minutes, which now means that cannons are 90 gold. Okay? So, cannons are 90 gold. So, a minion wave, you know, I mean, you're talking about having to farm 1 extra wave. Okay? So, you're talking about an extra 45 seconds in game timer. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little unfortunate. Gale Force, attack damage 55 to 50, active damage 150 to 350 plus 200% crit to 150 to 300 plus 45% bonus AD. This is a nerf until 445 bonus AD. Okay. Imperial Mandate, 1 damage, 35 to 75, level 1 to 18, to 40 to 60, level 8 to 18. So it's a buff when you first pick it up, but a nerf in mid-game. Damage 2, 70 to 150, 280 to 120. So, okay. Move speed, 20% to 25%. Okay. So... Oh, it's a really weird thing where I guess it's better as soon as you pick it up. It's better as soon as you pick it up, but then it okay, I guess. Okay, Overheal Shield, 20 to 300, levels 1 to 18 to 11% max HP. This is a nerf for marksmen after level 5 and a buff for fighters. Okay, so now they're trying to move Overheal away for some of the marksmen, I guess. So now we're moving away from the Bloodthirster plus Overheal shield meta. That is what we're moving away from, I guess. Now, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case, but it does look like that is a direction that we are going. Now, 11% max HP on Overheal, I think that's kind of disgusting. When I see this, and I think of like Cho'Gath or something, I think that is a little bit disturbing. Potentially, right? If we're talking like pure tank Cho'Gath, or if we're talking about being able to go, I don't know, if we're talking about being able to go overheal on like Scion or something, or we're talking about like these champions that can just get obscene amounts of, or like Mundo, right? That can go like fleet footwork, or like something like that, and he can just overheal, I guess. I mean, that's obviously going to be a thing. Now, obviously, for like Aurelia as well, or like these types of bruisers and fighters, I would imagine this is actually just going to outperform Triumph in most cases. Rapid fire cannon, energize damage, 60 to 140 to 60. Okay, that is a huge nerf. Lucian is getting tagged really hard, as is a lot of champions, okay. Red buff, damage, 6 plus 6 times level, 12 to 114 to 6 times 4, okay, 10 to... Wow, they're nerfing this. Health regen, 139%, max HP, 135... Wow, they're nerfing this. What? Best played with R, Katarina, Samira, bug fix. Okay, so, couple of things. One, 1312 apparently will not have Neferi or Briar. This is very bad news, because that means that we will not actually be looking at potentially a new champion until like 1316 or something. Most likely, right? 1316, 1314, 1315. Which means that we are literally looking at until August. Probably, right, with the way that competitive cycles work, in competitive, right, before a new champion comes out. So we are stuck with a very bland meta. Now, of all of these changes, Ashe can maybe come back. They're trying to push Ryze again. Rel is very interesting. They're trying to nerf Yuumi, but I don't think Yuumi is going to move. Gragas is finally being nerfed. Lucian is attempting to be killed, but I don't think that Lucian's actually going to be killed. I think Lucian's going to end up okay, because all the marksmen and stuff are just sort of indirectly getting tagged. Rumble is the really big one that comes out of this. 13.12 is the Rumble patch for sure. This is really, really bizarre. This is a very... Okay, so Rumble is like the really big monster that we get from 13.12. Because the way that I'm reading all of this is just straight up like a massive Rumble thing. And then obviously the Rel stuff. Now, they're saying champion nerfs on Rel, which is obviously really sad. But I mean, we'll look at that later. Anyways, we're in the middle of LCK, so I think that's pretty much it. I think the next series is about to start. So that was it for a 13.12 preview. We'll see what actually ends up sticking when I do the rundown next week. But oh my lord, dude, the meta is something else.